What's happening? How's everybody doing today? It's Green Thumb. We're in a greenhouse and we're going to be doing some fertilizing today. Um, Everything in here is growing in pots. I've had some of this stuff growing since just after Christmas. They're starting to run out of nutrients in their soil. I probably should have realistically fertilized a couple of weeks ago. Things have been crazy busy, so we're getting to it today. We're going to be using Gaia Green Bloom formula. It has a higher phosphate level in it. Okay, and I trust Gaia Green products. I use, on average, I think I probably have about 6 different kinds of their fertilizers in my fertilizer tote over there. So I've been using this stuff for years. It's fantastic. So I'm going to be using 2 kinds today. I'm going to be using the Bloom formula on my plants that are putting out fruit and flowers, so my zucchini and my tomatoes. And then I'm going to be using the all-purpose. Let's see, that's a lot of glare. Sorry guys, trying to cut down on the glare here from those LEDs. I don't know, but can you see that? Oh my, that's not working at all, is it? Okay, well, this is a 444. Wow, that's really glary. Okay, so the 444, that's the veg, the all-purpose. This is going to feed my Swiss chard, my basil, and my kale and my dill. And then I'm going to be using the Bloom formula for everything that's flowering and putting out fruit. So the way I remember it, and it'll probably help you guys too, is phosphate for fruit and flowers, the F's, right? Phosphates, fruits, and flowers. Okay, so that's what we want. That's what that middle number is right there, NPK. Yeah, NPK, doing this backwards in a camera, okay? Nitrogen, phosphates, potassiums. Potassium is K. So, how this stuff works is, it's a powder, right? And you got to mix it into the top of your soil. So I'm going to apply it with a spoon. Got my measuring spoons. I'm using a tablespoon. I'm going to give all of the larger pots 3 tablespoons. It's actually based on the amount of gallons in the pot. I don't always apply as much as they call for because usually I have other additives in the soil, right? So what you do is you sprinkle this on the top of your soil. It floats when you water it. And you got to water it in, excuse me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle it into the top of the soil. I'm going to use my fingers and I'm going to dig it into the top of the soil, and then I'm going to water it in, because if you don't mix it into the top of the soil and you water it, it just kind of floats on the top of the soil and or on the top of the water, and it doesn't really penetrate. But if you mix it in, it penetrates really well. I also use this stuff for all of my weed plants. So this stuff's no joke. You guys have, who have been following me for a while know that I don't mess around when it comes to my weed plants. Now, right beside me, right here, I have 2 Brandywine tomato plants. They're indeterminates. They are not flowering. I'm going to give them some of this Bloom formula. If they don't flower for me in a week, I'm tearing these plants out. I need the space, and the space is limited in here, and it's spring. All my seedlings are going, well, no, not all my seedlings, not even close, but I have hundreds of seedlings going in the greenhouse right now, including all the stuff I've been growing in here. And if I can't get this plant to flower within a week, I'm tearing out these 6-foot tall plants. They're just going right into the green bin, because why am I having plants in here that aren't producing food for me? Also because it's probably going to take them a month and a half from flower till harvest anyways. By that point, I'm going to be planting stuff outside. So literally waste of space. So I'll flip this camera around and I'll show you guys what the process is. You can get Gaia Green on Amazon. It comes in these containers, smaller containers, buckets, big bags. If you're a big grower, you can get it in big bags like a flour sack. And you can get it at grow shops. Some gardening centers carry it. You know, that sort of stuff. All right. Let's try. So this is the brandy wine I was telling you about. This stuff on top looks really dry because it's just leftover soil from the top of the tote lid from me planting seedlings. So, like I said, you just sprinkle it on, right? We're gonna give it 2 tablespoons. And because it's organic, guys, the way organic fertilizer works is the plant only uptakes what it needs. Okay? So if it doesn't need it, it won't use it. But these plants need it. So we'll just do that. Get our watering can. And like I said, this water that I'm putting on here is from the tote that I have the mosquito dunks sitting in permanently now. So every time I water, it's also getting water with the mosquito dunks. But you can see how the stuff that I didn't mix in, you see how it just floats on the top, right? So we'll just give it a good drink. These plants are thirsty. That's one of the other issues when you're using a potting soil. It has, it's so porous that water just flows right through it, and it doesn't really hold water as well as other soils, but that's kind of the point, right? Because you're inside your house and you need this stuff to drain. So this is the Tommy Toe tomatoes, and I'll show you what we got growing on these plants in a second. So we're gonna give it 2 big heaping tablespoons. Gonna mix that right into the soil. Like I said, we don't want it floating around when we water. See all the dust coming off? So just mix it in. Like that. Get out the big old watering can again. Give it a big drink. Just like that. We've got over here, how can I do this and still get in this corner? Hang on, adjust, there we go. This is the last pot of the Tommy Toe tomatoes, and they're touching my ceiling, and I have flowers all the way up to the ceiling, and the zucchini plant's burying it. So we'll just give this 2 big old scoops like that. Doesn't have to be perfectly pushed around because I'm gonna end up doing that with my hands anyways. Get all up in here. Get it all up into the soil. So what I'm gonna do is I'm watering them now. You see me watering them now. I'm gonna let all that water filter through, and then I'm gonna come back in about an hour. We're gonna re-water. And within a day or two, these plants are going to perk right up. And I'm going to have a bunch more flowers on them healthier fruit, faster growing fruit. We're going to hit the zucchini because it's also flowering. All right, oh, hang on, maybe we can lift this up. Oh, I don't even know if you guys can see in there. There is a big pot. I'm training the zucchini up the trellis so they grow taller and not wider. But there's only so many hours in a day, right? So we're gonna hit this, 2 scoops. See if I can get in here and not totally block the camera. Mix all that up. Get it right up into the soil. Like that. Now we're going to have much happier plants within the next couple days. Let's put this back. Clean my hands in the mosquito dunk water because what's a little bit of bacteria on your hands? And then, so we've got all those fertilized with the Bloom formula. And now we have, I probably haven't shown you guys around for a little bit, eh? Hang on, let's sort that out right now. Shrink this tripod down. There's fertilizer all over my tripod now. All right, so there's all of our sweet peppers. Look at how gorgeous those plants look, eh? And then we've got the kale. All of the basil. If you guys could smell this, oh my. Look at the dill. Look at all that dill. I should be making dill pickles right now. Another kale. And then the Swiss chard. This is rhubarb Swiss chard. Look at the color of this. How pretty is that? My mom's actually on her way right now, and I'm going to be sending her home with a whole bunch of Swiss chard that she's going to eat for her dinner. And we've got all of the onions. For you guys growing onions, I'm going to be putting out a video tomorrow, and you're going to want to watch that. It's involving these onions right here. Don't miss that. Keep your eyes open. So if you guys give me a sec, I'm going to swap out fertilizers and move some stuff around, and I'll be right back. I've finished fertilizing all the big plants, everything that's flowering, right? As you can see, all my tomatoes got lots of flowers on them. We have these, which I'll be eating for my dinner today. Look at that, guys. How gorgeous is that? See, got tomatoes all over the place. See, lots of tomatoes growing. We have flowers all over. So if you want to see how you hand pollinate tomatoes, let's get that in frame. All you do is you just take your fingers, get behind the stem, see the little flower there? And just do this for about 10 seconds because each tomato flower has a male and female organs in it. So that's all you got to do for 10 seconds. See, switch it up. We got a whole bunch of flowers up here, right? All you got to do is this. Give them a shake, about 10 seconds, and that'll pollinate your tomatoes. So just go through your tomato plants. even this summertime, you know, doesn't take long. And this is why I have clumps of beautiful tomatoes growing all over the place. Look at that. See? More tomatoes. So you just go through, find your flowers. You want them nice and open, right? And then just go through and give them a good jiggle. They're all over. Got lots. So, see? More tomatoes growing. More tomatoes growing. More flowers. Standing underneath the light, I gotta shrink down or it's gonna bop me in the head. And I got a sticky trap stuck to my ear. Awesome, that's great. So, see, still dealing with the fungus gnat issue, but as you can see, there's almost none flying around, so we got it under control, sort of, mostly. So what I've done is, this is the pepper plants. There's 4 in here. Because they're flowering, I also used the bloom formula. I got my hands down in there after I applied it. And then everything else here, the kale, basil, dill, and Swiss chard, and the onions, instead of using the Gaia Green Veg, the 444, I decided because it's going to be hard for me to get my hands in these smaller pots without disturbing the actual plants growing or damaging them, I decided I went with a water-soluble fertilizer that I just mixed into the bottom of that red massive watering can. So, was that a 12-liter watering can? And I just mixed the fertilizer right into there. And then I just directly watered all of this, just for simple ease of doing it without damaging the plants. So, I know I was going to use the Gaia Green, but I've got multiple different fertilizers at my disposal I can use, and right now this just kind of fit the purpose. So as you can see, the whole floor is empty, right? And I'm at the point now where anytime I want to kind of work in here, I have to take all of my little grow trays that I have all the stuff germinating in them, and I've had to put them all outside. So I'm running short on space here. I'm thinking I might take the bottom of that wall and just pull it out a little bit more so I have some space. So that's possibly the next plan, because it's just hanging from the ceiling, right? See, so I can just take the bottom and just pull the bottom out another 2 feet, and then I can just lay grow trays all up in the floor. So that's where we're at. And like I said, if these Brandywine tomatoes here, which are, you know, couple inches from my joist up there, if they don't start throwing flowers in about the next couple of days, we're going to rip them right out. We're going to take that one out and that one out, and then we'll have all this space in here to put more seedlings, because we're going to need them, because eventually I'm going to also have to transplant the seedlings out of those cells and into actual solo cups and stuff, a lot of them, because they're not going to be able to live in those little cells until I can plant them. And one of the next videos, guys, I'm doing is we're going to be giving these onions a haircut. Yep, you heard me. If you're growing onions, okay, and they're getting about this long, okay, these are 6-8 inches long. When you get them about that long, I'll show you how to give them a haircut. Cool? All right, so smash that subscription button right over there, and give me a big thumbs up, and have a fantastic day. Grow good food, guys. Love y'all. See ya.